Welcome to City Cast Boise, the local daily news podcast that makes you feel more connected to the city we love. You can listen to all of our episodes on your favorite podcast app or right here on YouTube. You can also read our daily newsletter, Hey Boise, at boise.citycast.fm. And if you're a fan, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Boise is a city that runs on word of mouth. And so if you don't know what's going on, you're going to miss out on some really great things. So we do a monthly guide so that we can share some of our favorite activities, food, and freebies that you can catch around Boise or the Treasure Valley this month. Joining me today is our Hey Boise newsletter editor, Blake Hunter, and our producer, Evelyn Avitia. Thank you both for being here.
Hey, you two.
Hey, excited to talk about February.
Okay, Blake, I'm going to kick it to you just right at the start. What is your must-do activity in February in Boise that everybody should check out?
Okay, so, I think that the one thing that a lot of people are going to be doing is like skiing and snowboarding. But if you're already into that, you're already into that. So my suggestion is completely on the other side of the spectrum, which is to sit yourself down in a theater. I am personally not the biggest theater person in the world, but I think that there are a couple good shows kind of coming up on the radar, both in like the Morrison Center. So there's like 1 or 2 days left in February of Hamilton if you want to go try to catch that. But also at the Boise Contemporary Theater, there's a show running through February 8th. And then there's another one starting up like at the very beginning of March that you can kind of buy your tickets and have to look forward to. The one that I would look at right now for Boise Contemporary Theater is On the Other Hand, We're Happy by Daft James. I haven't gone to see it yet, but I've heard a couple people went who really enjoyed it. And then right after that, there's going to be one with some Idaho ties, actually. It's called A Case for the Existence of God. And it's not like evangelical or anything, because this is by Samuel D. Hunter. Yes, we have the same last name. I would love to be related to him because he's such a talented writer. But he's actually from northern Idaho, who's kind of made it big, and he has a play that's coming to the Boise Contemporary Theater, and that's at the very beginning of March. So again, I'm shooting a little bit farther, but that is one that you definitely don't want to miss.
I think that is a great suggestion. We're kind of really in the heart of winter here. We've passed all the festivities, the lights. Maybe time to catch a show. Yeah. Are there any other shows that you're excited about or that maybe people should know about that maybe have flown under the radar?
Honestly, there's a lot of random things happening at the Morrison Center this month. Like, they don't have a consistent show, like Broadway production that's coming in after Hamilton. There's just like every other day, there's just kind of a random show. There's going to be Richard Powers, who wrote The Overstory and Playground, which I just read and really enjoyed. He's coming to the Morrison Center through the Cabin on February 20th. On February 18th, there's also the Boise State Symphony Orchestra. So I think there's other live events that you could go see even if you're not the biggest theater person.
I think that's great. Yeah, they always have a good assortment of shows.
Totally.
There's a variety.
And those are literally, I just named 2 venues. So like, go check out the Egyptian, check out any other smaller, companies. I can write about them in the newsletter, but there's an assortment of selections you could make.
Blake, I've actually never been to any theater, any show. Okay. I'm curious about the vibes. Like, do you dress up depending on what you're watching, or is it just, Boise casual? What's the vibe there?
I think my pitch is yes, dress up, because as we've talked about many times before, you kind of have to make up your own reasons to dress up when you live in Boise.
Oh my gosh,
and so I say just go for it. I say swing big. Like, you're going to the theater, and you know what? If other people are dressed down, they're the ones that look like fools and not you. So that's my pitch, is like you with like a really big coat on and like a nice chunky belt. I think that's I see you in that situation with some like red wine at the Contemporary Theater, eating it up. Maybe sunglasses on while the studio's dark. I see you in that zone.
Totally.
Okay, so I'm going to jump into my pick that I think everybody should check out. It's actually in Meridian, so not in Boise, but close. And kind of going with that same, it's the heart of winter. It is cold. I like to be indoors as much as possible, but I'm kind of missing greenery in my life. I'm kind of missing plants. And so my activity is going to the Wood and Root Bar in Meridian. and it's on East Idaho Avenue. And they just have this amazing space where you can plant, take a pot and plant something, make a terrarium, make, all these different kinds of projects. They have all kinds of projects, all the materials. You don't have to bring anything. You don't really have to know what you're doing. Just have a general idea of what you'd like. Or you can even go there and see other projects that people have made and been like, I would like that. That's what I'm looking for. And they will help you put it together, help you get the materials, know what to do. Give you some ideas like, okay, how much do you want to take care of this? What are you looking for? Really, really personalize it to what you want. And you can also have a drink. So it's a 21 up space. So you have to be 21 and up. But it's just a really fun place. I'm not particularly crafty. I don't even always necessarily know what I want. I just kind of want to play in the dirt a little bit, plant something, have something that I feel like I made or accomplished I can bring home, brings a little more greenery to my life in the heart of winter. And everybody is fantastic. They know what they're doing. They ask you a few questions. They'll help you every step of the way. I have just had such a great experience there. And I think it's the perfect February activity if you're feeling a little cabin feverish, a little over the cold and the dreary weather.
I think that's such a solid, and I really feel you because I used to work at this landscaping company, and so in the months of February and late January, we were planting seedlings, and that was the way that I kind of got my green thumb energy out in the middle of the winter. So I think this is a great one, and it is a really cute space in there. I've only been in there once. It was we just kind of stumbled in. I was with a couple friends and we couldn't, there wasn't space at the Roosevelt, in downtown Meridian. And so we just kind of stumbled in there, but it's really cute. I think that's a good suggestion. What's the cost that you're looking at for doing that?
For a base, they kind of, it varies. It varies wildly depending on if you're coming with a big group, making a giant project. But they say as a base price, really plan on spending about $35, and that will cover your plant, the terrarium or the container, the soil, anything else you might be doing. You can do several plants. Anyway, that will cover all of it, but it can go up from there because they have little terrariums, little planters, or you could get something very elaborate, very fancy. So, but I kind of plan on spending, drink money and then also about $35 on a project. Sure. And they are having, I did want to highlight them because on February 18th, they're having a Galentine's terrarium party at 6:30. Now you'll want to call, you'll want to make sure that there's still tickets that you can get in, but they do advertise that on their website. And so if that's something you were looking at doing, you don't have Galentine's plans yet, this might be an activity you could enjoy.
I was going to say, that seems like a fun Valentine's Day, even if it's, a date or not.
I was going to say, you don't need a partner. If you're not doing Valentine's Day, Galentine's at Wood and Root Bar.
Ooh, love that. Okay, I actually have to hop in on that because February is obviously the month of love with Valentine's. Boo. And I was a Valentine's Day hater. I thought it was so corny, but something took over me. And I love it now. I'm throwing rose petals everywhere.
We lost another one, folks. We lost her.
You lost me.
And it's not because you have a partner, right? Because everyone is a Valentine's hater, and then they're like, well, now I'm in love.
No, I realized that I could host Galentine's events and that I can bring the girlies together and that I could do cute stuff. And I'm all in. I'm super excited. I'm hosting my very first Galentine's. And so my suggestion is host a little Galentine's with your friends or grab your friends and do some sort of activity, do a solo date. Don't let this Valentine's, I need a partner idea to consume you. So I'm going to help you plan the ultimate Galentine's party. So you're going to start off with a mood board. From here, you're going to really select that vibe. What do you want your Galentine's to represent? You're making this mood board, you're figuring out your theme, your decoration, you're finding food and inspo drinks, and then from there, it's your activity. What are you going to do? There's paint and sip. You could do painting candles, you can paint wine glasses, you can paint a canvas, or you can play with food. You could decorate cakes or decorate pizzas, do fun stuff like that. But one of the things that really caught my attention, if you're not wanting to really host and do take on that whole hosting duties, then I would suggest going to Stardust and grabbing brunch because the aesthetic there is so cute. I love it there. And they really do have a good brunch. And then you could go to Silver 72. This is a locally owned permanent and silversmithing experience. And you can make your own jewelry with your bestie, with your friends, whoever you're with. I think that's a really fun activity.
That sounds really fun. Okay, so are you hosting in your space or are you planning on a delicious brunch and jewelry?
I'm actually hosting at Gaye, which is a local bar in Nampa, bar restaurant. It's really good. But I planned way ahead. I started taking on this idea and I just ran with it. So for last minute things, you could do, that whole brunch thing, or even at your house, do something super small or intimate, or the vibes.
And
I
Evelyn's
love
a
it.
professional host. Evelyn knows what she's
True.
doing, so
It is true.
Take
In
notes.
my
And
room, I have a whole corner full of everything I need. I have goodie bags. I have crafting. I have decorations. Like, I really planned this through.
I would say, as soon as you started with mood board, I knew that this wasn't a
Yeah.
joke. This wasn't like a last minute, like, I don't know, I bought some balloons
Yes.
and some pink plates. Like,
It's definitely possible to do a last minute Galentine's event. You really do have the whole month. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
early February, the day event. Like, you have the whole month to gather your loved ones and do something and really just enjoy each other and promote that self-love.
Yeah.
I love it. From hater to host. I love it.
Love it. Yes.
Okay, Blake, now we're on to one of my favorite categories that we always have in the guide, which is food. What is February food in Boise to you? What are you getting? What should people check out? What is the food that people should be eating this month?
Okay, I'm going to take us on a bit of a left turn because usually I'm coming in with like all of the restaurant picks. I looked in the doc at both of your restaurant picks, so I'm so excited for you to talk about them because they're both great. But I'm actually not going to a restaurant. I think that February really excels because it's a great time for like going crazy on your like snack. Like level up your snack game, I think, this February. And it's something that you'll never regret because then you'll kind of always, once you get in the habit of like keeping a well-stocked pantry of like good snack foods, then you'll never regret that. But I think that also this is just a fun time to do it because it's, we're still post-holidays, like money's a little bit tight. And also we're not going out to eat as much. It's cold, like you kind of want to stay in, but you don't want to just stay in and like dwell in the nasty cabin feverness of it all. So I would say just like work it into your budget just to, going to the grocery store these days is like you're spending at least $100. So my suggestion is to budget in a kind of expensive grocery bill once or twice this February, and just think of it, you're not going to be spending as much eating out. But I think even if it's just like Trader Joe's, but also I really suggest finding like your local stores, whether that's just like the Co-op or M&W in the West End or whatever it may be. Like there's different, like even like little gift markets that you've seen around often have like locally made snack stuff that are really good, whether that be cheeses or jams and things like that. So I think that and I just did this the other day and it was honestly so nice, is just like postpone, if you're having dinner with like a friend or your partner or your roommate or whatever, just postpone dinner that you're making by like an hour. And then instead just have this like little fun snack period where you're just like enjoying each other's time. You're just enjoying like eating little small foods. I know this is such a strange suggestion, but it really is my pick of like buy the fancy olives, buy the capers, like get a nice cheese, find whatever produce you can find and put a little effort into it, because I think that it's just like really February to me is about just like creating your own little pockets of joy. And I think food is one of the best ways to do that, even when, we don't have great fresh produce right now. I don't know, like make cupcakes and just like have that be your snack. Like just create something for yourself to be excited about, and you'll kind of Pavlov dog yourself into having a better time this February. That's my pick, because that's what I've been doing during the month of January, and it's been working like pretty well. And then, if you have like a few people coming over, have each of them bring one or two snack things and just get funky with it. Just have fun.
No, you know what I love about this suggestion or this tip is it's so customizable.
Yeah,
like it's
totally.
If we're just like, here, you got to get this thing at this place. Like, this is a very, if you're savory, this is going to look really different for you. If you're looking for something sweet, like, it can change. If you're home alone, it's going to look different than if you're inviting people over. It is, I don't know. Sometimes I think we need to be reminded we can treat ourselves or just do something a little fun, bring a little glimmer to a February, because it can be a bit dreary.
Yeah. And it's not always just about like being a consumer, where you're just like buying a bunch of stuff that you don't really need. But at the same time, there can be a little bit of, a little bit of joy in that. And I think if you wanted to make this like a Valentine's Day thing, get your friends together, and each of you do kind of like a Secret Santa kind of vibe, where each of you gets someone else and you pick like a sweet thing, like a salty snack and like a soda or like a juice or something that you think the other person would like, and then you get to present it to each other and say like, this is why I chose this. I don't know, like you said, just
so
like
cute. Yeah.
Yeah, just like make
that.
it fun. Yeah, have fun.
So Evelyn, I want to know, what is your food pick for February in the Treasure Valley or Boise? What are you eating this month?
Yeah, I want to tap into those cozy vibes. It's been cold outside, and I am always craving a good pozole in the winter. And if you're not familiar with pozole, it is this Mexican style thick stew soup, and it's amazing. It's just like a big warm hug. And Amano has one of the best pozoles I have tried. And they're, sorry, hold on. Where am I looking at? Oh, they're hominy. And their hominy is actually organic from Mexico, which I think just makes it even more special. And the way they serve it up, it's beautiful. They present your pozole with your side of tostadas, and then all of your toppings like cabbage, onions, radishes, and this super flavorful spicy salsa. So you can add that, however spicy you want to make your pozole, you'll add that in there, but it's so good.
Oh,
This
that sounds
dish,
amazing.
it looks so delicious. I have not had this yet, but I love pozole. I grew up in like Jerome County. Like we had a lot of good pozole down there, and I really miss it. It's kind of hard to find here in Boise.
It really is like a homemade meal. Like this is a meal that you enjoy with your family. But if you really want an authentic pozole, Amano really, so good.
Anything at Amano is going to be amazing. But you sent me a photo of the pozole there, and I was like, good Lord, I need to go. Yeah.
We had a neighbor who would make us pozole and every Christmas, and we loved it. And we moved this year just before Christmas, and we didn't get it. And we were all just like sitting around. We're like, it's fine, we'll eat something else.
Yeah, that's actually like devastating.
It was really we didn't plan that out. We should have moved after Christmas. It was pretty devastating. So yeah,
Lindsay, would they give you pozole rojo, red, or green?
Red.
Okay, good. I'm team red.
Okay, I don't know that I've ever had green. I was like, oh no, I'm not. No, I don't want to throw them under the bus. It was wonderful, and we always loved it. So.
Yeah. What about you, Lindsay? What is your food pick for the month?
Okay, so mine, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, mine is I'm in the mood for something hearty. It is cold. It's February. And so my pick is Ayanka's Russian cuisine. Yes. But I've got two very specific things that I'm looking for this month. And the first one is the beef stroganoff. And I know this sounds like kind of it's a simple, straightforward, like it's a stroganoff. We've all had a stroganoff. But Ayanka's just kills it. Like, it is the best stroganoff I have ever had. And it's just so good, and it's so hearty and filling, and you get a huge portion. So you've got tons of food, and it just, I don't know, something about it. When I'm eating that, I'm like, it's fine. It is not cold. It is not winter. It is not miserable. Like, I don't know. Maybe the Russians know. They have the longest, one of the longest winters. Like, they know the food you need to eat. And Lindsay, beef stroganoff is it.
Lindsay, I actually have never had beef stroganoff. What is that?
Oh, okay.
Can you please
Beef
tell me
stroganoff.
what's in this dish?
I guess, was this something I assumed everybody had had and people haven't had? Okay, so it is like a beef sauce, a creamy beef sauce, but it's very rich. Like Ayanka makes it very umami-y. Kind of the Americanized version, there will be like sour cream and, different things like that. Ayanka's is just like this delicious, thick sauce. Yeah, I was going to say broth, but it's not. It's a sauce. And you have it over pasta. And so they have these delicious noodles. Oh, it is just so good. It's very like peppery in the best way. I really enjoy it. So it is just absolutely one of the best. That with like a glass of red wine, delicious. Like one of the best meals I think you can have in the winter. But I do have something else since it is Valentine's Day month, or since it is the month of Valentine's Day and love, and I think we're far enough away from maybe everybody's New Year's resolutions that people might be open to like a sweet treat.
Always.
But
Always,
one of my favorite desserts in the entire world is a pavlova.
Oh my gosh.
It
Yep.
is
Yep.
It is phenomenal. I love them. I made one for Christmas. It was not as good as Ayanka's, but I tried. But they make the most stunning pavlova, and it is delicious. It has this tart sauce that they put with it. They have a cream filling to it that is delicious and plenty of fresh fruit. Like that is, if my husband's listening, that's the dessert I would like for Valentine's Day. It is I think it's the perfect Valentine's Day dessert. It's sweet, but not too sweet, not super heavy. It's just delicious. It's perfection.
Pavlova is, you might have to commission me for one of those. So Kirk hit me up because I'm actually making a pavlova for a friend's birthday that I'm hosting, and we're doing like a pomegranate and like spicy honey pavlova. Ooh. And I'm so excited because it's so delicate. I think Galyanka is such a good pick for February, especially stroganoff. Like, it's so hearty. If you haven't had it before, it's often like, I would compare it like to the Italian like bolognese, but instead of like tomatoes, it's cream instead of tomatoes.
I was going to do that, and I'm like, I don't know if that's offensive.
Is that
I don't know.
Well, it might be. I don't know, but like that's how I think about it.
Yeah.
And then you can have like buckwheat noodles or egg or rice noodles with that. Also, if you're a vegetarian, there aren't a ton of things that you can have at Alyanka, but the vareniki, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but it's like a potato and mushroom dumpling that they have.
Ooh, it's so good.
Oh my gosh, Alyanka is so good. And I've said it before, but like their bakery case is really underrated. Like they are top notch. So yeah, I think Evelyn, if you're coming into Boise, go get some stroganoff.
Okay.
I think you would like it.
On my list.
Yeah.
It is so good. Blake, I'm going to have to hit you up for that pavlova because I made one over Christmas. It was fine. Fine. But it definitely cracked. I wouldn't have made it through Pavlova week on Great British Baking Show. So it's
I
fine.
won't either. Yeah. Well, I'll update you. I'm going to run some tests and stuff, so I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay, Evelyn, as a girly on a budget, I always want to know, what is something free that you're doing in Boise this week in the Treasure Valley? Some people are still reeling from the holidays financially, and the cost of everything is ridiculous. So what's something free that people can check out this month?
Yeah, I know we've been tapping into our hibernation era and moving slower and just really relaxing and doing self-care and all that. But I am also reaching that time where I'm like, I need the sun. I need to be outside. I miss spring. I miss summer. And so my free thing is move your body and go on a walk. Like take 10 minutes out of your day and just force yourself to go on a walk. Even if it's super cold and that wind is just horrible and icy and chilly.
Cutting.
Yeah, really just go on that walk, get outside. But if you want to be a little more adventurous, Bogus Basin, they offer free snowshoeing tours every Saturday at 11 a.m. or Sundays at 1 p.m. And the tour is free, but you do have to buy your pass and your rental for the snowshoes. So it's $10 each. But yeah, if you want to be a little adventurous, I think you could go explore Bogus Basin on a tour.
I think that sounds fantastic. And two really great options. One, just Just go outside your house and
just get out there. No
Just
get out there.
excuses. Get outside.
It is so cold, but also, you know what? Like, this is what I've been like kind of pep talking myself with lately is like, we are so lucky that like it hasn't been too snowy. We are still getting a lot of sun this winter. So just get outside. Just go do it. Like, you got
Even if
this.
you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do it. This feels horrible. Then afterwards, you're like, wait, that was actually really nice.
Yeah.
Because that's been me lately.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, just the other day, I was like, I gotta get out. I bundled all up, and it was cold. It was that day. It was super windy and miserable, and I was like, oh, this was a mistake. When I got home and like was unbundling and then kind of warming up, I was like, oh, that's kind of pleasant. Something about that is kind of cozy. Like, okay, I don't hate that. So I give double thumbs up to this recommendation. I think it is great. Blake, what is your recommendation for something free, or what is your recommendation for something free that people should be checking out this month?
Yeah, this one is mostly free. Some of these options are free and some are not. But my pick is just going to be book clubs. So I wrote about a bunch of different book clubs in the Hey Boise newsletter recently. But I think that, again, February is a really good month to, kind of gather around with some folks, read a book, or read it and then just talk about it together. Or you don't even have to talk about it. There's like a silent book club that I know that Little Lit Room runs. They're going to be meeting at Common Ground this month. There's options through the public library system. There's options through Rediscovered Books, which those ones from Rediscovered are going to cost a little bit more. But a lot of these options are free, and you can start your own book club for free, even if it's super informal, even if it's a one-time thing where you just read one book with some friends. And like I said, there's a ton of different options, just like as far as themes. Like there's horror ones, romance ones, cookbook ones. Kind of anything you could think of. And again, you could start your own. So I'm not going to list all of them and where they're meeting and whatnot. You can find that at boise.citycast.fm. But yeah, I think that this is just a fun thing to do for the month of February.
Okay,
and
Blake,
it's mostly free. You might have to buy the book, but that's okay. It's mostly free.
Okay, Blake, I've got to know now, what book are you reading? What book club did you join, or what are you doing this February?
Okay, I'm kind of starting my own little like friends book club. I'm the constant reader. I always am reading like 3 or 4 books at the same time, so it's kind of hard to pick one. But right now I'm reading Akwaeke Emezi's "You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty" because I needed a little bit of a silly romance to get through through the winter. It's not like too silly, but Akwaeke Emezi is an incredible author. I think they're so talented and they're so prolific. They're one of the most like prolific young writers of our generation. So check their stuff out. But yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. So rounding us out, Lindsay, what's your free activity for February?
Okay, so my activity is free with the caveat you're going to have to drive and you're probably going to pay for things when you get there. But the activity itself is free, and that is the McCall Winter Festival. And for anybody who hasn't been, it is this whole festival that happens in McCall that is just very winter themed. Also lightly Mardi Gras based. It's kind of both in a fun way. But one of my favorite parts of it is all of the ice sculptures. And if you're thinking like, oh, it's just like some rando in front of their house, just kind of like, a funky snowman. No, this is like
they go
art.
hard. Yeah.
They go so hard, and it's always so impressive. Some years there are just giant sculptures. They're very intricate. It's worth the drive if all you're doing is driving up to look at the ice sculptures. I think it's worth it. But there are tons of activities happening. That's not the only thing happening. This year, it's going to be February 21st through the 23rd. And the theme is Carnival in Paradise. And on the 21st, there's going to be the Children's Torchlight Parade. I've never been to this particular event, but it's kind of to kick off the festival. It's from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And I know that they give the kids like hot chocolate and snacks and a glow stick, and they walk through the streets and then they light a torch for the festival. An adult does, not a child. But your kids just get to carry glow sticks. But it's just a really fun way to, if you're like, I got to get out of Boise, I just want to go somewhere, you can go, and there's tons of activities. The entire city is just like celebrating. So restaurants will be having deals. There's all kinds of, vendors that will be there, pop-ups, food trucks, all kinds of things to check out. And it's just kind of a fun, festive atmosphere while we're, pulling up on the tail end of winter. It's February's kind of a dreary month, and this is a good way to just add a little bit of spark and fun right at the end. So I just think it's really great, and I don't know, it's a gorgeous area. It's amazing sculptures, and you get a parade and delicious food.
Yeah. And if y'all haven't seen these ice sculptures, they are stunning. It's beautiful work. It's really cool. So yeah, I love that pick.
This is one of those events that every single year I'm like, I'm going to go. I'm finally going to go. I'm going to go. So thank you for the reminder, because hopefully this year I finally make it.
Well, thank you both so much. This was so much fun. Great picks. Fantastic picks for the month of February. Sometimes with these winter months, I'm like, I don't know, what are we going to do? But I think we hit a variety of really, really great ways to experience Boise in February. Thank you both.
Thank you, Lindsay.
For sure. Thank you.